underway. 20 of the fastest Supercross riders in the world thunder down that long straightaway, and 2 of them are not going to make it through corner number 1. One of them, Mike Kudrowski. I'm not sure who the other one was. They're both okay. Meantime, out front, rider number 8 aboard the Yamaha, Damon Bradshaw. Right behind him, Jean-Michel Bayle, the Frenchman. In 3rd place, number 20 is Jeff Matasevich. 4th, the reigning Supercross champion, Jeff Stanton. Behind him, Rick Johnson and a whole host of riders. This Supercross is underway with all of the tough guys, the top guys up front. Let's go back and look at that crash.
5 guys in a 2-man funnel here is all it amounts to. Kudrowski, number 11, got into the guy in front of him, slid into Larocco, took them both out.
In the meantime, it's Damon Bradshaw out front. Dave, I have no idea where Bradshaw came from. To be honest, I thought Bayle was going to walk away with a whole shot of this one. Jeff Stanton was worked up to 4th, and here comes Doug Dubach, who's moved into the number 5 position.
Bradshaw won the start by learning from the heat race. He was stuck on the outside there and won the start, so he came back and took the outside for the main, but it's a big gamble. Watch for him way up by the bales, hard on the gas. If he doesn't beat all of those guys through the corner, it's going to be a big crash. Ooh, he just gets ahead of Dubach, drops Doug back to 5th. Bradshaw comes out with the lead. Great piece of work.
And that's the kind of gamble that a Supercross rider has to make, Dave, if he wants to find himself in the winner's circle. Right now, we're looking at a battle for the number 2 position. There's Matasevich. He squeezes underneath Jean-Michel Bayle, and he holds on. Matasevich, the same rider that Bradshaw tangled with in his heat race, has moved into the number 2 spot. Right behind him, Jean-Michel Bayle. If Bradshaw looks over his shoulder and sees Matasevich, you got to wonder, will it start playing tricks with his mind? Because that is the guy that put him down. Although it was not Matasevich's doing, it is the guy that put him out of that heat race. And here's the pass again.
Just a good inside move by Matasevich. Bayle left it open, tried to ride the rail. Jeff said, I'll take the short way, and got into 2nd spot. Now he's all over Bradshaw. And this is definitely a grudge match, not only from the heat, but from a year ago in the 125 class. Bradshaw was the best in the East, Matasevich the best in the West. Now we find out who's the best, period.
If indeed one of these 2 guys can hold on to win this main event. It's 20 laps long, and we're only 3 down, so there's a long way to go in this one. Right now, Bradshaw is making it look easy, while Matasevich seems content to follow. But it's not all that easy. I want to tell you, behind them, the toughest Supercross riders in the world. How tough? Earlier, we posed that question to a former Supercross champion. Jeff Ward, rider number 3, had this to say.
Well, I think it's a lot tougher this year. There's a lot of riders coming up. You know, Ricky got injured last year. I was injured, and some other riders got in there. We got some wins and got some confidence with them, you know, and Jeff Stanton was one of them, and Damon Bradshaw's coming up, Jeff Matasevich. There's just a lot of these riders, Kudrowski, that are going to, you know, they're learning, but they got the ability to win. So I don't think it's just going to be a runaway by any rider this year.
And we'll be back with more main event action right after this. Cross Series from Anaheim Stadium in Anaheim, California. Damon Bradshaw in the white Yamaha, number 8, is your leader. He was your leader. Jeff Matasevich with a good drive on the inside carried Bradshaw all the way up to the bales. In fact, almost through the bales. He tried to put Bradshaw into orbit, and Bradshaw, not playing any of that game, got on the brake. But it was too late. The damage had already been done. Rider number 20, Jeff Matasevich, aboard that Kawasaki from La Habra Heights, California, had taken over the number 1 position. Now it's Damon Bradshaw's turn to follow. His turn to try to sort out the lines that belong to Matasevich and see if he can return the favor a little bit down the line. Dave, let's go back and take another look at that pass.
What happened to Bradshaw was that he started looking back over his shoulder. Same mistake he made in the heat. This time, bang, Matasevich just jams up the inside. And I think that was a little bit of vengeance on Matasevich's part. He thought that Bradshaw railed him in the heat race. He comes back and evens the score in the main event. And now it's 50-50, and they can go out and settle it clean between them.
The rider parked on the side of the track kicking his motorcycle was Guy Cooper of Team Suzuki. Evidently, Cooper having some kind of problem out of sight of our camera. Meanwhile, having no problem at all is Jeff Matasevich and Damon Bradshaw. And that's the way they would like to keep it. However, Bradshaw has from time to time experienced problems. Earlier, he talked about them.
Well, my biggest goal is to stay on 2 wheels a little more this year than I did last year, and I think that's just going to come from riding the 250. I ride a 250 a little smoother than I do a 125, and to try to be in the top 5 at the end of this year. You know, maybe my goals are going to change, you know, throughout the year after I feel a little more confident on winning. I feel like I can win tonight, and, you know, so I'm just looking forward to it.
Larry, I'd like to have Damon's problem. 17 years old, got the good-looking hairdo there, got the factory Yamaha contract, making more money than you and I put together. Only thing wrong with his life right now is Matasevich is first and he's second.
Well, I rather doubt that in Bradshaw's mind he intends to stay there. Only time will tell if Matasevich can hold off the charge that I expect to come from Bradshaw momentarily. Behind them, the best Supercross riders in the world are the established stars, the veterans, and frankly, the riders that were picked to win it all out here today. Dave, we're looking at what could be the changing of the guard.
I think it's remarkable that a 20-year-old kid and a 17-year-old kid are having this incredible battle for the lead here, while all the big names are back in the pack. Maybe it's a one-night fluke. Maybe it is, as you say, Larry, the changing of the guard. Let us not lose sight of the fact that these kids have a tremendous amount of experience. Supercross riders typically start racing motorcycles when they're 5 and 6 years old. So they've got a lot of track time, a lot of seat time under their belt. What they don't have a lot of is experience as the stars of the big show. They've been in stadiums, they've been before 66,000 people before, but always in the support class. Now, it's just these two kids for the biggest prize in Supercross racing. I think the winner will be the guy who stays cool under pressure.
And talk about pressure, did you see that move that Bradshaw tried to put on Matasevich and how Matasevich countered it? Bradshaw tried to put a wheel on the inside of that corner. Matasevich hit the brakes. They call that brake checking. Let's go back and take another look, Dave.
Bradshaw set it up in the previous corner, Larry, by going wide. Matasevich knows he's out there and anticipates what he's going to do. Here's the chop back to the inside. He's hoping to dive into the corner before Matasevich can block him. Matasevich just cuts right, jammed the brake right there, and that's how he caught the front wheel of Damon Bradshaw. Damon had to make a quick save to keep him going over the bales.
Now, Damon has switched riding tactics. A few laps ago, he was content to follow Jeff Matasevich. He's been studying Matasevich's line. But now, all of a sudden, Bradshaw is becoming aggressive. He's changed his lines all over the racetrack. Matasevich doesn't know where to look. He looks to the inside, Bradshaw switches and goes to the outside. The next time around, Matasevich moves out to the outside in an attempt to block that move, and Bradshaw's cutting back to the inside. And look, it is getting to Matasevich. That was plain and simple an error because he tried to switch his line. He looked for Bradshaw, didn't see him back there. He wondered where he went, and he's losing concentration. So if Bradshaw can force that kind of a mistake on Matasevich, he'll be able to make the pass, make it cleanly, and get on about his business.
Bradshaw's using every trick in the book to keep Matasevich aware of his presence. He'll use just the engine noise, the sound of the engine revving behind him. Matasevich hears that every corner, every lap. He knows Bradshaw is right there beating on the door.
A little bit further from the door, perhaps down on the front steps or out on the porch, comes Jean-Michel Bayle, the French rider. Bayle has been quietly sneaking up on the front runners.
Larry, I'm not sure that Bradshaw and Matasevich even know that Bayle is back there. They're so intent on racing each other. He's taking advantage of that. They're probably holding each other up a little bit. Bayle is free to run his own lines, and he's definitely getting closer. But the story of this race is still Bradshaw's effort to get around Matasevich. And I noticed that Matasevich is looking back a little bit more. Same mistake Bradshaw made in the heat race. You don't beat a guy by trying to anticipate where he's going to go. You worry about where you're going to go and get there as fast as you can.
This is exactly what took place in the 125cc main event, an offensive and defensive riding situation. In this case, Matasevich trying to block Bradshaw. He doesn't want him to make the pass, obviously, and Bradshaw going everywhere he can. And look, there's the corner where they earlier almost collided. He does, Dave. He got the line out of that corner. He's got the drive. They're side by side. He'll have the inside going into this little camelback, and he did indeed make the pass. Bradshaw set that pass up at least 4 laps ago. An unbelievable situation for a rider this young. I don't know how he does it. Dave, let's go back and take a look at where Bradshaw set the pass up and actually made the pass.
It's almost the same as the near miss that he had a couple of laps before when he winged the rear wheel of Matasevich. He fakes to the inside right here, hoping Matasevich will look. He does, and with that, Bradshaw goes to the outside, knifes back across, has more momentum than Matasevich, plus the inside line, and that's it. Jeff's history. Damon's got the lead.
An unbelievable situation, as I said earlier. And look, now, Jeff Matasevich is being challenged by Jean-Michel Bayle. Either something is wrong with Matasevich's motorcycle, or he's just plain lost his momentum. Now, that can happen. A rider has the lead, has things going his way, when all of a sudden the cork is pulled, which happened to Matasevich when Bradshaw passed him. And we could be in a momentum situation here.
He looks tired to me. He's starting to make mistakes that he wasn't making earlier. I'm not sure what it is with Matasevich, but I think perhaps the pressure of the race with Bradshaw's getting to him. He's just making little bitty bobbles, and that's what's letting Bale get to him.
Now, Jean-Michel Bale has won 2 world championships. He did it in the 125 class, did it in 1989 in the 250cc class. I mentioned earlier that Bale had considerable supercross experience here in the U.S. He ran 1/2 of the circuit last year, his best finish being a second down in Miami at Joe Robbie Stadium, and he is all over Matasevich, inside, outside, you name it. Look at this.
Looks like a replay of the Bradshaw episode. He's going to have the inside line coming into this right-hander. Boom! Out of my way, kid. I'm gone. Great move. That's a guts move. They can both fall down very easily in that situation.
Well, that's what Supercross is all about. You have to be aggressive. You don't have the liberty of setting back and taking a wide sweeping corner just to make a pass. You have to go in there and bang a little bar to do it. Let's take a look at it again.
Well, it's not exactly brain surgery. Bale knows he's going faster, and he'll be on the inside when they get to the corner, so bang, he just uses Matasevich for a berm. Jeff runs off, bounces off the hay bales, and falls to third.
Back to the action where Damon Bradshaw, number 8 aboard that white Yamaha, pretty much has things his own way. He's working his way through lap riders. That's Sean Kalos, rider number 15 out of Litchfield Park, Arizona. And this one is winding down. Stay with us. We'll be right back. The Camel Supercross Series, I'm Larry Myers. With me, Dave Despain. That's Damon Bradshaw. With 2 laps to go, Bradshaw is leading the series opening event. Sitting in the number 2 position, rider number 22, the French world champion, Jean-Michel Bale. This has been an extremely exciting race, Dave.
It has indeed, and Bale has been the late race star as he came up, took that runner-up spot away. Too late to challenge Damon Bradshaw. The headline on this one is going to be, the kid wins in Anaheim. 17 years old, and he's going to whip the best in the business and beat him impressively. There's nobody behind him. He's gone. He's going to run away with this thing.
Even more significance is the fact that the first veteran is back in the number 4 position, and that's Jeff Ward. Out in front, we have a rookie, Damon Bradshaw, as Bradshaw takes the white flag, signifying 1 lap to go. In second place, Jean-Michel Bale, the French rider, who has limited Supercross experience. And running in third, Jeff Matasevich, another rookie. The veterans are nowhere in sight.
Wouldn't it be awful if Bradshaw had one of those experiences now that he had so many times last year where he did fall off while leading? I think not. I think he's got this race in hand, and now all he's thinking about is how high he's going to jump when he gets to that final checkered flag.
I'll tell you what, if that did happen, I'll bet his dad or Bradshaw would come looking for you with a shotgun if they watched this telecast. And here comes Bradshaw. He's got to be careful. He's working his way through lap riders like it's the opening lap of the race. If I were Bradshaw, I think I would be taking it a little more cautious. He has bobbled 3 or 4 times since the camera's been on him this last lap. But from where he is now, he can coast home. In fact, one good endo and he's across the finish line. There it is. A double pumper. Hands off the bars. Bradshaw wins his